New problems tonight for Treasury Secretary Tim Geithner. Newly revealed emails indicate that when Geithner was still running the Federal Reserve Bank in New York, lawyers for the New York Fed wanted crippled insurance giant AIG to hide information about its dealings with certain banks from the SEC. The story had White House Press Secretary Robert Gibbs on the defensive today. Take a look.
Secretary Geithner was not involved in any of these emails. These decisions did not raise to his level at the Fed. It wasn't on the emails that have been talked about and wasn't party to the decision that was being made. There are not emails that involve Secretary Geithner in this instance.
Various liberals have jumped on this and other stories about Secretary Geithner to say that he really is not fit to serve as Treasury Secretary. He still has the president's full confidence?
Of course.
Here now, Republican Congressman Issa, who obtained those emails, and also with us, Politico financial correspondent Eamon Javers joining us as well. Congressman Issa, let me start with you here. You have caused some heartache, I think, over at the Treasury Department over these emails that you made public. These are, of course, emails between the New York Fed and AIG from when Geithner was head of the New York Fed. Explain to our viewers why you think these emails are problematic, or why they are problematic.
Well, because they reflect information that always should have been public. The idea that $62 billion at 100 cents on the dollar is essentially given to Goldman Sachs and other banks through an AIG bailout, never to be returned, should not have been something done in secret. And I appreciate the fact that the White House is saying that Secretary Geithner was not involved, but you can't have it both ways. You can't say he's the one that steered us through a difficult period and then say every time something went wrong, he had nothing to do with it and knew nothing about it.
But is it possible that he isn't involved here? I mean, are what you're saying by releasing these emails and sort of going on the warpath is that you believe he was explicitly involved?
Well, what I believe is that, you know, Bank of America Merrill Lynch's problems happened on his watch. Certainly $62 billion or more dollars that will never be returned to the taxpayers went out in these counterparty claims, or these AIG insurance claims, as most people understand it, that didn't have to go out. It happened on his watch. So the real question is, you know, has he been a good steward of the American people's money, or has his organization, in this case the New York Fed, simply taken care of their own at the expense of the taxpayers? The latter seems to be the case. We want full disclosure. We want transparency. We now have Chairman Towns saying he will have Secretary Geithner there to talk about those days and how we lost so much money never to be returned in the case of the AIG bailout.
And just to be clear here, because you've said this before, you think he should step down. Geithner should.
As far back as March, I failed to have confidence that he was the right person for the job. Now, the president can have anyone he wants advising him, but there are statutory powers, things which Secretary Geithner does every day, does it, much of it without good oversight of the Congress, that I'm still concerned about. So he doesn't have my confidence and will unlikely get it, but I certainly want to know why he gave 100 cents on the dollar to AIG to pay off foreign banks when clearly it could have been negotiated for less. And that's really where these things come from, is our trying to get to the bottom of why we gave away more of the American taxpayers' dollars than was necessary or appropriate.
All right.